Everyone says my cut-rate husband, Adrian, is the untouchable ice king perched at the very top of the pyramid, celibate, cold, allergic to women. I bought it until wedding night when I accidentally brushed his arm. He went rigid, ears so red they looked about to bleed, and then, watching the change in a very specific part of his anatomy, I lapsed into deep thought. What kind of celibacy is this? Right now I just want to grab my 8-meter broadsword and hack down every last gossip. My marriage to Adrian began as a bare-knuckled transaction. The Vance family needed the Sterling Group's cash injection, and Adrian needed a presentable, equally pedigreed wife to shut his family up. Me, Serena, sole heiress of the Vance fortune, unfortunately drew the short straw. The day we made it legal was the first time I ever saw him. Outside City Hall he stepped out of a black Rolls-Royce, black suit wrapped around broad shoulders and mile-long legs, a face so handsome it should be illegal. I swallowed. Fine, with that face. The deal wasn't a loss. Dad's assignment was simple. Play the perfect Sterling, keep Adrian happy, and after 1 year I'd pocket $50 million in spending money plus a downtown penthouse. I thumped my chest on the spot. Dad, relax. Make it 10 years if you want. I'll not only keep him happy, I'll make him fall for me so hard he can't live without me. Dad shot me a look that clearly said, keep dreaming. The paperwork took 10 minutes flat. Aside from signing our names, Adrian and I didn't exchange a single syllable. The frost rolling off him could have chilled champagne. Outside, he handed me a black Amex. Your birthday is the pin. Spend whatever. Voice as cold as the man himself. I pinched that sliver of plastic and felt the weight of lifelong luxury. Thanks, hubby. You're the best. I cooed. He paused. Didn't answer. Slid into the car and left me his aloof back. Pfft, drama king. I hopped in happily, planning which mall to pillage first. The cabin was huge, an entire Pacific between us. He rested his eyes. I scrolled my phone. Awkward but peaceful, until the driver slammed the brakes. I pitched forward uncontrollably, palm landing on his thigh. Yikes. Rock solid. Feels amazing, I thought, and instantly felt him seize up. I righted myself, stammering, sorry, totally an accident. Silence, but his breathing sounded heavier. I sneaked a glance and met deep eyes storming with emotions I couldn't read. The air turned thick. I inched away, trying to widen the safety zone. The moment I shifted, his scalding hand clamped around my wrist. Don't move, he rasped, restraint cracking his voice. I froze. Was this payback? I held my breath. After an eternity he let go. Voice arctic again, sit properly. I shrank into my corner. Miles of leather between us. Back at our love nest, a palatial hilltop estate, I finally tasted how the 1% live. Adrian led me to the master, pointed at the continent-sized bed. You sleep here, then jabbed toward the guest room. I'm there. My eyes sparkled. Separate rooms. Music to my ears. This cheap hubby's unexpectedly cool. Sure thing, honey, whatever you say. I chirped. He gave me an unfathomable stare, stepped into the guest suite, and slammed the door. I pouted at the shut panel. Please, like I'm desperate to bunk with you, even if those abs and V-cut hips are my romance novel kryptonite. I opened my manuscript. Inspiration exploding. His scorching breath brushed her ear. Voice husky and lethal. Woman, you're playing with fire. Mid-sentence my phone rang. My nosy mother-in-law. Serena. Darling, how are you and Adrian? He's a furnace once you melt the ice. Be patient. I humored her. Great. Mom, he's gorgeous and loaded. I'm thrilled. She cackled. Perfect. I had the kitchen brew 10 herb power broth. Drink up and get me a grandbaby ASAP. I hung up, eyed the black sludge the maid delivered, and pondered, won't this make my nose bleed? Waste not, want not. I pinched my nose and chugged. Instant furnace. I tugged my collar and dashed for a cold shower. Steam clouded the bathroom. I stepped out in a towel and slammed into a wall of muscle. Adrian stood there in a black silk robe, collar open to frame carved collarbones and a slab of chest, hair dripping. Beads slid along his razor-sharp jaw and vanished inside the robe. I admit, I swooned. Why are you lurking? I squeaked, clutching my towel. Water, he clipped, eyes flicking down, Adam's apple bobbing. I sidled aside. Well, go get it. He didn't budge, gaze drilling holes through me. What? Your towel's slipping, he warned. I looked, the knot had loosened. Fabric ready to bail. I yelped, fumbling to secure it. The more I panicked, the worse it got, until the towel whooshed to the floor. Time stopped. I petrified. Brain blue screening. His breath turned audible, ragged and rough. Crimson swept from his ears down his throat, and 2 suspicious red tracks threatened his nostrils. Seriously, a nosebleed. Before I could roast him he spun around. Voice strung tight. Put some clothes on, like I'm radioactive. I scooped the towel, rewrapped, and scurried into my room. As my door shut, a muffled groan seeped through the wall. I leaned against it, a wild idea sprouting. Could Adrian be an innocent virgin? And could it be I turn him on a lot? That discovery left me so wired I barely slept a wink. Next morning I shuffled down to breakfast sporting 2 purple suitcases under my eyes. Adrian was already at the table, razor-creased suit, not a hair out of place, back to his default iceberg setting. If it weren't for the faint bruise of fatigue under his lashes, I'd have sworn last night was a dream. I slid into the chair opposite him and let my voice drip sugar and cream. Morning, hubby. His knuckles whitened around the coffee cup. He didn't answer. I didn't care. I plucked a slice of toast and took my time slathering jam, then slid my bare toes up his calf. Slow. Teasing. Hiss. He sucked in air. The cup clattered. Coffee flooding the mahogany. I blinked. All innocence. Everything okay? Hands shaky. He drilled me with a glare hot enough to scorch. Yet his cheeks flamed scarlet. Serena, he growled. Present. I chirped. Too fun. The man was a wolf in Shylam costume. 1 stroke and he sparked. He shot up. Strode to the powder room. Water thundering behind the door. My grin stretched wider. A perfect revenge plot hatched itself right there. Adrian, you want to play glacial. Let's see how long the act lasts. To test my theory, I embarked on what you might call a suicide mission. Okay. A fact-finding tour. My bestie Maddie FaceTimed me the second she heard. Serena, you're my queen. Watching the abstinent billionaire lose it, I could binge 100 episodes. Under her remote coaching, Operation Meltdown officially launched. Day 1, Adrian came home. I drifted around in a silk slip the color of champagne. Eyes front. He locked himself in the study. Round 1. KO on me. Day 2. He was on a Zoom call. I glided in with a fruit platter and cooed. Hubby, you work so hard. Say. Ah. Bending just low enough for the view. Slam. Laptop shut. Suits on the screen vanished. Out. He rasped. Fists bulging. Round 2. Draw. Day 3. Time for heavy artillery. Claiming book research. I begged him to model his abs. Just a peek. Please. My hero needs anatomical accuracy. I whined. Clamped to his arm. Adrian's face could have steamed wallpaper. Serena, do I look unemployed to you? You look sculpted by angels. Waste not. Want not. I gave him star eyes. Pinned by my nagging. He finally undid 3 buttons. 8 blocks of muscle. That mouth-watering V. Yep. I drooled. I poked. Wow. Rock solid. He snapped to attention. Seized my wrist. Satisfied? Nope. I sang. Wanna touch? Before I finished, he tossed me over a shoulder and flung me onto the duvet. The world spun. His irises were dark fire. You asked for it, Serena. Right then I knew I'd poked the wolf. I was wrong. So wrong. I should never have signed that marriage certificate. No certificate. No Adrian. No Adrian. No accidental discovery that the tycoon is a closet virgin. No discovery. No idiotic urge to tease. No teasing. And I wouldn't be lying here. 3 straight days unable to leave this bed intact. I felt like a fish fried, flipped, refried, no bones still mine. That bastard Adrian, animal. I cursed him silently while my dear mother-in-law's voice floated up. Sweetie, I heard you're under the weather. Did yen, sorry, Adrian, bother you? Tell mom. I'll scold him. What could I say? That your son's stamina is killing me. I croaked. Just a little cold. Mom, a cold. You need soup. Half an hour later the maid marched in 10 steaming bowls of 10-herb power broth. I stared at the battalion of tonic and wanted to cry. Mom, you're finishing me off. Adrian emerged from the bath. Towel slung low. Drops racing over his abs. He stood over me. Sit up and eat. I rolled my eyes and burrowed into the quilt. No strength. He chuckled. Lips at my ear. Oh, guess I wasn't trying hard enough last night. I rocketed upright. Eating. See me chew. When a man's gym time equals your reading time. You yield. Mid-meal my phone buzzed. Maddie. Progress. Conquered. I thumbed back 2 letters. Yup. I sent the shirtless victory pic. Maddie replied in record speed. Holy crap, those abs. Your neck, though, did a vampire attend? In the mirror, the bruises looked like a connect the dots of doom. Brutal didn't cover it, and the control freak decreed. No low tops. No eye candy actors. My fictional hero must be him. Keep it in the family, he said. I call BS. Then an unknown number rang. Serena. Friend of uncle here. We've got him. Want him breathing. Send Adrian alone to the abandoned plant on West 12th. Uncle. The uncle who covets my inheritance and dabbles in shady voodoo. Kidnapped. I told Adrian. He didn't even twitch. Got it. He said. Dialed. West 12th plant, sweep it. Like ordering coffee. I gaped. That's it? He lifted a brow. Why would I go myself? Watching him, calm and lethal, I felt something new. This man might actually be my safest bet. Love, I've decided, isn't some Instagram post declaration. It's the umbrella that tilts over you in a rainstorm before you even notice the downpour. I watched him erase every trace of my mess, and some quiet corner inside me caved in. Once Uncle's crisis was handled, my life snapped right back to its usual deep deep water. Scorching fire mode. Adrian, meanwhile, acted like he'd unlocked a cheat code. Tormenting me became his favorite sport, and the man kept inventing new plays. Against the study's floor-to-ceiling windows, on the kitchen's marble prep station, even on the living room's sofa, the evidence of our battles piled up. I lived each day terrorized by the fear he would literally wring me dry. I started seriously researching escape routes. This existence was impossible. If I didn't run now, I'd be leaving my little life behind on his Egyptian cotton sheets. To bankroll my breakout, I began prepping in secret. First act, I faked a worsening cold and shot down every brush of contact. He wasn't happy, but seeing me a frail made him leash the impulse. Next, I quietly booked a single ticket to the island getaway and texted Maddie. Asterisk, you're my getaway driver. No questions. Asterisk, everything was set. I only needed a tailwind. That morning I felt weird, queasy, bone-tired, ready to nap on the luggage rack. I figured I'd pretended myself sick. Then, in the bathroom trash, I spotted last month's forgotten visitor supplies. A terrifying thought detonated in my skull. No way. Did I just hit the jackpot? My fingers shook as I opened a delivery app and ordered a dozen different brands of pregnancy tests. 30 minutes later, the perfect row of double pink lines stared back at me and the room went black. I was toast. I'd overshot the fun zone. I was actually carrying the demon Adrian's heir. Talk about lousy timing. I'd been desperate for an exit cue, and here it was. Gift wrapped, belly on the run. Classic trope, right out of my favorite romance binge. I speed dialed Maddie. Maddie, change of plans. I'm pregnant. Bring the car now. We're doing a belly dash. Maddie screamed back, holy crap. Serena, you're living the plot. Does Adrian know? If he finds out I'm stuck here for life. I flung a tiny suitcase together. Driver's license, passport, and the black Amex he'd given me. Poetic justice. Channeling every heroine I'd ever written. I scribbled a note. Asterisk, Adrian, I'm exhausted. Time apart. Please don't look for me. Asterisk, I dusted my hands. Flawless exit. As Maddie's car pulled away and the hilltop estate shrank in the mirror, my lungs filled with freedom I'd never tasted. Adrian, you big jerk. Bye. Bye. Sucker. When I'm done roaming, maybe I'll come back. Maybe. I pictured my real-life belly run like the novels. Sunny beaches, foamy surf, a buffet of hot island guys. Reality slapped me before the airplane steps even cooled. The moment I landed on the island getaway, I projectile vomited my welcome. Morning sickness stormed the gates. I lay on the hotel's king bed like a beached fish, too limp to flirt with anyone. Maddie patted my back, gloating. Serena, was ditching that gorgeous husband worth turning yourself into a seasick walrus? I managed a weak glare. You don't get it. At home it was delicious danger. This is just danger. Sure, your highness. She handed me water. By the way, radio silence from Adrian? That bugged me too. By now he should have helicopters crisscrossing the tropics. 3 days, nothing. Did he not care? The thought jammed thorns under my ribs. Whatever. His loss. I reached for my phone to scroll Instagram, slipped, and landed on my monster in-law's profile. 9 glossy scenic shots. Geotagged, Swiss. Caption, asterisk, vacationing with my son, need space. Don't call, asterisk, I stared, slack-jawed. Here I am barfing my soul out while he's sipping cocoa on Swiss slopes. Oh, hell no. Adrian. I hurled the phone and buried myself under the duvet. Before I could stew, the door crashed inward. I bolted upright. In the doorway, a man coated in travel grit, suit rumpled, eyes bloodshot, stubble crowding his jaw, zero trace of the usual ice-cold CEO. Adrian. He found me. We locked eyes, neither breathing. Maddie evaporated. Only the two of us remained. His gaze turned net tight around me. Panic. Helplessness. A flicker of terror I'd never seen. He closed the distance one deliberate step at a time. I inched back. He halted 3 feet away. Voice gravel under a tire. Serena. Come home. I jutted my chin. Nope. I'm staying to admire beach hunks. The veins in his eyes flared crimson. There are no hunks here. Only me. Pause. A tremor of hurt slipped in. Am I not enough eye candy? I swallowed. Ridiculously enough. He was even wrecked. Miles hotter than any random torso on the sand. I stayed mute. He edged closer. Why did you run? I was worn out. Barely a whisper. I screwed up. The apology shot out. Earnest. Disarming. I'll throttle back. Watching this giant tiptoe around me melted every leftover shard of anger. So he hadn't shrugged. He just sucked at showing it. My mother-in-law's Instagram was limited to close friends. He'd never gone to Swiss. These 3 days he must have torn apart time zones searching. My heart folded. Eyes stinging. You jerk. Adrian. I whipped a pillow at him. He let it bounce off his chest. When the pillow dropped, I crumpled, sobbing into the mattress. He scooped me up, palms slow on my back. Don't cry. It's my fault. His smell, cedar and storm, anchored me. I mumbled into his shirt. I'm pregnant. His whole frame locked. His heart sprinted against my cheek. Finally, he rasped, "Truth?" Cross my heart, and I was crushed into an embrace so fierce I felt our bones might fuse. "Thank you, Serena." Over and over against my ear, "Thank you. Thank you." Right then it hit me. I, Serena, had fallen irretrievably for this tight-lipped, soft-centered tyrant. On the flight home, Adrian treated me like antique porcelain whose glaze might crack if the cabin pressure shifted wrong. He'd open the Rolls-Royce door for me when I got in, act as my human handrail when I got out. He was one step away from scooping me up and carrying me everywhere. The minute we walked into the hilltop estate, the first thing he did was swap our ridiculously oversized bed for a 4-foot-wide twin. His excuse, "It's better for baby." Me, Adrian, "You sly little genius." That wasn't all. He hired an entire team of nutritionists on 24-hour call just to police my meals. My daily routine became eat, nap, eat, nap. Occasionally Adrian would read me prenatal bedtime stories. He'd sit there clutching a copy of Peppa. Dead serious. "I'm Peppa. This is my little brother George." The scene couldn't have looked more wrong if he'd been holding a chainsaw. I lay on the sofa, laughing until my stomach hurt. "Adrian, are you sure this isn't a horror story?" He closed the book and gave me a hopeless look. "What would you rather hear?" I rolled my eyes up at the ceiling. "How about CEO falls for me, hard?" He said nothing. Days floated by in that sweet, ridiculous bubble. My belly grew, and Adrian grew edgier. He axed every non-essential dinner, helicoptering home on the dot to keep me company. We took walks, binge-watched movies, folded onesies together. I finally admitted that, outside the bedroom, where he was an absolute animal, the man was a 24/7 dream husband. He memorized every preference. No cilantro. Bubble tea at 30% sugar. Reality TV comedies. I'd mention offhand I craved the soup dumplings from the Southside joint, and the next morning they'd appear. He'd driven there himself. He spoiled me into total uselessness. Toothpaste squeezed, hair blow-dried, vitamins lined up like toy soldiers. I wallowed in that tenderness and never wanted to crawl out. One night I half-woke to the feel of someone kissing me. I opened my eyes to Adrian's face inches away. His mouth moved like I was made of crystal. My heart flipped. I hooked his neck and deepened the kiss. He froze, trying to pull back. "Serena, don't. I'm not a don't ing. I traced his ear with my tongue. "I want you, husband." Every muscle in his body snapped tight. "No," the doctor said. "No sex in the first and last trimesters. We're in the second." I cut him off. Watching him battle desire with duty was adorable. I leaned in and sealed my mouth to his again. Add blanks BO compatible K.PPO Amanda sequential.